To share briefly is that in our research and in attending some of these meetings, there are many key players involved in this, but what came as a shock to us was that the two most prominent figures have been Mikhail Gorbachev and Pope John Paul II. And I realized that would come as a surprise to some people, but I have a quote here from Mikhail Gorbachev regarding his relationship with the current Pope, and this came from the Denver Post, 1992. Gorbachev says, "I have carried on an intensive correspondence with Pope John Paul II since we met at the Vatican in December 1989. And I need to add in, at that time, he actually bowed at the Pope's feet and in essence brought himself under his authority. And he has also stated that Pope John Paul II is the world's highest moral authority." So now let me go back to the quote from Mikhail Gorbachev. He says, "The sense of mutual affection and understanding which resulted from our meeting is to be found in each of our letters. I cannot help but say that we share a desire to move forward and complete what we began together. When I was with him, I realized that the Pope had also played a role in what we came to call the new political thinking. What I have always held in high esteem about the Pope's thinking and ideas is their spiritual content, their striving to foster the development of a new world civilization. And finally, it can be said that everything which took place in Eastern Europe in recent years would have been impossible without the Pope's efforts and the enormous role, including the political role, which he played in the world arena." And there are more statements like that from Gorbachev.
Okay, so those two are tied together.
They're tied together, and he sees the Pope as being his closest ally in building the new world civilization, is what I'm trying to share here. This is Mikhail Gorbachev.
What is called the Earth Charter, which is like a constitution for a one world government and one world economic system and one world army and one world political system. But what was intriguing to me is the video footage and the statements you found that the current Pope stated.
Going back to 1986, he called for the first public interfaith meeting in Assisi, Italy in 1986, and we have some video footage from that meeting, which is quite amazing. Over 200 religious leaders from around the world were there, including the Dalai Lama, the symbolic leader of Buddhism. And this Pope has actively been pursuing the unification of all the world's religions around Rome. These people are traveling to Rome for these meetings. There have been a number of meetings like this now. And so you put this together with what Gorbachev is doing on the political front through the United Nations, and you have a partnership, a type of coming together of the countries of the world through the UN and the religions of the world through the Vatican, and there is an alliance that has been forged there.